there, infrastructure admins, and welcome to this definitive certification prep explainer. Today, we are laser-focused on one very specific, very important objective, NCP-MCI 7.5, Section 14.1, Intelligent Operations, also known as NCM. We're going to make absolutely sure you have the deep, structural understanding you need to completely ace this section of the Nutanix Certified Professional Multi-Crowd Infrastructure 7.5 exam. So let's get right to work. Here is our blueprint for today. We'll be hitting 1. Why NCM matters. 2. Licensing and prerequisites. 3. Real-world NCM examples. 4. Exam traps and edge cases. And finally, 5. Key facts to memorize. All right, Section 1, Why NCM matters. Let's start by establishing exactly what this feature even is, right? Because, well, you can't troubleshoot what you don't understand. First off, let's define our acronyms. Nutanix Cloud Manager, or NCM, uses a suite called Intelligent Operations to bring advanced administration, predictive capacity planning, and intelligent automation directly into your IT environment. Now think about what that actually means in a real-world data center context. I mean, for years, infrastructure management has been incredibly reactive, right? A disk fills up, an ear-piercing alarm goes off, and you scramble to fix it. Intelligent Operations flips that entire script. It transitions your posture from reactive to highly proactive. The system is actively analyzing trends and solving issues before that alarm ever even has a chance to trigger. It's basically a brain for your cloud. And you need to know this specific objective is tested incredibly heavily on the NCP-M 7.5 exam. Nutanix tests this rigorously because Intelligent Operations fundamentally changes how admins manage their clusters. It's a core architectural philosophy for them now. It empowers you to proactively govern your environments, rather than just playing whack-a-mole with fires all day long. And the exam writers want to ensure you know exactly how to leverage it out in the wild. Moving right along to Section 2, Licensing and Prerequisites. For the exam, you absolutely must know the 3 distinct licensing tiers for NCM. Let's break these down deliberately. The starter tier is your entry point. It's designed for basic monitoring, capacity planning, and low-code automation. So what does low-code automation actually mean here? It means you get access to simple, pre-built playbooks to automate the most common, repetitive tasks without needing to write complex scripts from scratch. Super handy. Moving up from there, we have the Pro and Ultimate tiers. On the exam, you'll see these two often grouped together because they both unlock the comprehensive advanced infrastructure operations features. We're talking the full suite of predictive analytics, advanced cost governance, and complex multi-step automation playbooks. Knowing exactly which tier unlocks which level of automation is a classic multiple-choice question, so definitely be ready for that one. So how do you actually test all this cool stuff out? Well, Nutanix provides a free trial period of exactly 90 days to test drive Intelligent Operations. But, and this is a huge but, here is the vital detail for your notes. The trial does not start when you click a button or agree to some prompt. No way. This 90-day free trial starts automatically the absolute second your Prism Central deployment spins up. That is a favorite, highly specific detail for exam writers, so make sure you lock that in your brain right now. Okay, hit pause and memorize these exact numbers. To successfully enable Intelligent Operations, your Prism Central, or PC, virtual machine must have at least 4 free Virtual Central Processing Units, that's vCPUs, and 2 GB of free memory available. Listen to that keyword, free. If you do not explicitly allocate these specific resources, the advanced features simply won't run properly, and you might actually suffer some serious performance degradation across your entire management plane. Okay, Section 3, Real-World NCM Examples. Let's see this in action. To understand why those exact prerequisites are so incredibly strict, let's look at some concrete examples. I mean, 4 vCPUs and 2 GB of memory might sound like a massive prerequisite just to enable a management feature, but it makes total sense when you see what it's actually doing under the hood. Our first example is proactive anomaly detection. Imagine a scenario where a rogue virtual machine suddenly spikes in disk I/O at, say, 2 a.m. In a normal legacy setup, you might wake up to a completely crashed cluster. But with Intelligent Operations, the machine learning engine has already established a baseline and flagged this massive deviation from normal behavior well before a total outage occurs. Running that kind of complex predictive math constantly across your entire infrastructure, yeah, that requires significant processing power. And that is exactly why you need those 4 extra dedicated vCPUs. It needs raw compute to think ahead. And that leads us perfectly into our second real-world example, low-code automation. Let's say that rogue VM from our last example is now completely maxing out its CPU, causing severe application latency. A low-code playbook can be configured to automatically trigger and hot add resources to that VM to keep the application alive, totally hands-free. You literally don't have to wake up, log in, or click a single button. But here is the catch. Holding these automation playbooks in memory, keeping them actively listening, and having them ready to fire at a millisecond's notice requires dedicated space. That is precisely why you must allocate that 2 GB of RAM on your PC VM. It ensures the automation engine never hesitates when seconds actually count. Now for my favorite part, Section 4, Exam Traps and Edge Cases. Put on your red team hats for a second, admins, because it is time to look at the exact pitfalls and edge cases that exam writers will use to try and trick you on test day. Knowing the rules is great, but knowing the exceptions is how you actually pass. Think critically about this scenario for a moment. You spin up Prism Central, your 90-day free trial of intelligent operations begins automatically, and those 90 days pass. You decide, for whatever reason, not to purchase a license. Do you automatically get your 4 vCPUs and 2 GB of memory back? Surprise, this is a classic exam trap. The answer is an absolute, definitive no. If you do not actively go into the Prism Central Admin Center and manually disable intelligent operations, those backend services will just keep on running. They will stubbornly sit there consuming those precious PCVM resources like an unwanted house guest who refuses to leave until you manually go in and kick them out. You must actively toggle the feature off to reclaim your compute and memory. Don't fall for that one. Let's move to another major trap, which involves data retention policies. You absolutely cannot mix up the default retention limits for your operational logs versus your performance metrics. Notice the drastic difference here. Alerts, events, and audits are retained for exactly 90 days by default. However, hourly downsampled metric data is retained for a full 365 days, or one whole year. It is incredibly easy to get these two numbers swapped in your head when you're stressed out during an exam. So let's visually anchor this timeline in your mind right now. We are looking at 90 days for the short-term noise, those immediate alerts, events, and audits. But you have 365 days for the long-term trends. The system absolutely needs that full year of hourly metric data to accurately calculate those complex machine learning baselines we talked about earlier. Do not let them flip those numbers on a multiple-choice question. Short-term logs disappear at 90 days, long-term metrics stay for a year. And finally, Section 5, Key Facts to Memorize. We've covered the why, the how, and the sneaky exam traps. Now let's lock down the core facts in a final rapid-fire review to make sure you are 100% prepared. Take a mental screenshot of this list right here, as this is your ultimate cheat sheet. Remember the 3 tiers, Starter, Pro, and Ultimate. Remember the 90-day trial that starts the exact second you deploy Prism Central. Drill the 90-day versus 1-year retention rates into your head. And never ever forget that you must manually disable the feature if you want your CPU and RAM back after that trial ends. But look, above all else, if you remember absolutely nothing else about the prerequisites we discussed today, remember the numbers 4 and 2. You need 4 free vCPUs and 2 GB of free memory on your Prism Central VM to enable intelligent operations. 4 and 2. Seriously, say it out loud right now if you have to. 4 and 2. You now have the exact blueprint you need to master the intelligent operations objective. But here is a final thought to leave you with. If NCM can proactively heal an entire cluster using just 4 vCPUs and 2 GB of RAM, what other manual, tedious fires in your data center could you extinguish right now by trusting the automation? Keep studying, trust those numbers, and go absolutely ace that certification. We'll see you in the next explainer.